two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Eddie Collins.
Guys, and this is Justin Brown.
And we are Media Popcorn Niggas spoiling the movies. And we're not really spoiling this one, though, because this movie came out in 1989.
Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm.
And this ain't the remake that we did a few years ago with the guest host who shall not be named on this podcast anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and mind you, this is also based off of a 1983 novel. So, like, yeah, you should know about this bullshit already.
Yeah, and Stephen King is a wild motherfucker, but you cannot deny that he's the go-to horror.
He is, but at the same time, Brandon, hold on, it may be just, like sometimes like you just because you have a book and the book was good and the movie adaptations don't necessarily live up to it.
Yeah,
but if you've only been introduced to Stephen King through the movie adaptations, you may think to yourself, is this guy a good writer? Because some of these movies do not hold up.
Some of them are rough. Like,
yes.
But they all have a vibe. That's why I appreciate. Like, I wrote that down. I was like, I always like that. Every Stephen King movie always feels a little unsettling. Like, no matter who directs it or what it's based off of, it always like this had a vibe that immediately made me kind of like my skin crawl a little bit. Like just the way it was shot, like the way that characters were dressed and the way they acted, especially the old dude Gage.
Yeah.
Or what was his name? Oh, Judd. That nigga was
Judd.
creepy.
Gage is the child.
Gage was even the kid. The way they dressed that creepy kid at the end when he was dead, I was like, this looked like a real life Chucky.
So the crazy thing about this is the reason why it has like such a vibe, as you put it, is because this is also shot in Maine. Maine has a vibe, and well, that's a really cool thing about Stephen King is the fact that he really gives you that Maine kind of feel in his movies, because like I've spent some a good amount of time, at least like maybe 3 months, over 3 months collectively in Maine, like doing different shoots and things like that. Like those accents are extremely Maine. That's what they sound like. Judd's accent and also the other chick, the housekeeper or babysitter or whatever.
Like, what was her name? Missy?
Yeah, Missy.
Who was
like
creepy, sad, and weird all the same fucking time.
Yeah. Like
that was unsettling.
Those accents are like so on point, and just there's Maine has this particular vibe to it that's very palpable. And like watching this and having been there, I was just like, okay, yeah, okay. Like some of the things that do feel off, I'm like, that's kind of just Maine.
I mean, that makes sense. He was born in Portland, so that makes a lot of sense. And also, like, I mean, if there are times that like certain towns link up in like the Stephen King universe and shit. I was surprised when I saw that he wrote this screenplay too. He claims that this is the one story that he wrote that like creeps him out, which I get it. Like it is a fucked up story because it's essentially about loss and not being able to like grieve and cope with it. There's some really creepy shit in this movie too. Like I was like,
so I just before we really get into it, just to speak directly about Stephen King. This nigga Stephen King, he really, really hates automobiles. He thinks the automobiles are the devil because
that's before one almost killed him. That's what before one almost killed him too.
Yeah, so like he got hit by a car. Yeah, and so then he wrote Christine. But those fucking semi trucks are a menace in this film.
Well, I wrote that down. Why did the trucks drive so fast? And then after the kids killed, the city, you would sue the city or the town or whatever, fucking be like, you have to put a light over here.
Yeah.
Like or some signage.
Like So you're just telling me these trucks are just driving through here at fucking 80 miles per hour on a
Not
daily
one
basis?
goes slow. Not one. It's people live here, nigga.
Yeah, it's a residential road. What the fuck are you doing, bro? But also, that kid got killed. Bad parenting.
I mean, yeah,
parenting.
that dad had his back to the kid way too long.
Yeah,
way too fucking long.
Well, the family as a whole, the little girl
they also
falls.
saw the kid. They could see him.
Yes.
Why the fuck wasn't he? Like, hey, he's walking towards the street. They all look. Yeah, actually, that's a huge flaw. They were all facing the kid and his dad.
And then the fact is the dad goes running after the kid and then he falls fucking down on his fucking face. I'm like, nigga. Like what?
I do have to say though, like the acting was fairly solid, except for the main guy. There were times when he did some weird acting choices. What's his name? Dale McKiff. Because there's times when he was like kind of smirking when he wasn't supposed to.
Yes.
And he reminds me of Sam Worthington, who I think is one of the most like overpaid actors of all time because he's in those fucking Avatar movies and he's god awful. Right? That's why he's in nothing else, because like he just can live off that and he's terrible. But everyone else, I mean, I thought the guy that played Judd, who was also the judge in My Cousin Vinny, I thought he was really creepy.
Oh, God.
Fred Gwynn. That's one of my favorite performances ever in a comedy. Him as the judge.
Yeah.
Like he's so like just like his reactions to Vinny and the shit that he thinks he hears and doesn't hear. He was so creepy in this shit. And also, he didn't set up the dad though, right? It felt like at first it felt like he was intentional in setting all this up, like in taking him to like the grave side and like piquing his interest in like how things could possibly be brought back. But
no, so like, well, first of all, the way that all happened, all right, let's just jump because this is like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Though they buy this house.
Apparently the husband,
the husband bought the house. The wife didn't even know about it. He was just like, what do you think? She's just like, it's wonderful. I'm just like, really, bitch? You just let this nigga your wife just said, hey, go ahead and buy a house.
I know a few folks that do that. I know a few folks, but that's a very privileged place to be at, to be like where you can just, because that means that the house is in his name though. Because it can't be in hers because she wasn't there for the signing.
Yeah, obviously.
You know, like, which is a power move. But
I wrote down. This is also the 80s, so I guess
But I wrote down though, this is like a very, especially back in the 80s, a very white privileged thing to do. Because black folks could not buy a house sight unseen.
Yeah.
For sure not. Or if we did, we were out of that neighborhood real quick.
Well, you know what I mean? There's a whole, well, first of all, if we were buying a house sight unseen and it was like one of those things where like we had the money, I'm pretty sure it would have to be sight unseen because they didn't see us, that we were the ones who were buying the house.
True. It's sight unseen both ways.
Exactly. It was like, haha, it's already signed. Gotcha, motherfuckers. They're like, we got you. There's ghosts in that shit. But
I mean, they allude that that her dad is really rich.
Yeah.
Right? Because he has like a private jet and shit, right?
Yeah. Oh,
no. They were just in a small airplane. Never mind.
Yeah, no.
For some reason, I thought they were getting off like a private jet, but I forgot. Back in the day, they used to have smaller planes and shit.
No. Back in the day, you got you came down on the tarmac and walked down the thing, and walked down the stairs. That's why you think that. Yeah, because like when I went to the first time I went to DR years ago, that's what we did. But they just don't do that anymore.
And all right, so
what's that?
Nothing.
Okay. So first of all, they leave
Lluvia says real quick in the chat, she says flying in that time was a luxury anyways. True. I mean, that's true, but also that shit had to be so gross. This is the 80s. Everything was grimy. Niggas didn't really care.
Well, so it's funny though, because like
that's probably the 60s when people could smoke in the planes.
Yeah. But so I actually wrote is like, towards the end of the movie where she's flying in from Chicago, she goes to Boston and then heads up to Maine. I wrote, it's like, yo, why is she all dressed up? Not realizing that back in the day, you had to dress up to get on you have to dress up to get on a plane. You couldn't just come in all bummy. It was like a thing.
What's crazy is my wife's grandmother's still like that. She like has to dress up before she flies. Okay. It's like a habit that's like, because to Yuvia's point, like flying back in the day used to be like a luxury. It used to be like you had money if you could fly.
Yeah, because everybody else was taking road trips.
Oh yeah, we were taking that bus without any MP3 players. You know what I mean? We just find a fucking newspaper, just start reading.
Listen, man, I took a bus one time from New York to fucking Atlanta. That was a mistake. And I wasn't going to the Million Man Mark.
What year was this?
That was 2014.
Okay, so you at least had like an iPod or something like that.
Bro, nothing was going to help. Nothing was going to help. It was pure torture. So I took the Chinese bus too.
Oh no, Nick.
So listen.
Wait, explain to our listeners who may not be familiar with this. This is a very New York thing. So
okay, so there's a company called Fenghua. Fenghua that has these buses, and like they're mad cheap. Like you can take
you're so stupid.
Hold on, listen. You could take a Fenghua bus from New York to Boston for $10 fucking.
Yeah, why'd you do this?
And but I used to take the bus from New York to Boston because I used to date a girl who went to Boston, who lived in Boston. Like for that, and I was college and shit like that. It's like, all right, whatever. Yeah. Here's the thing about Fenghua. Crazy as motherfucker. When you're on a Fenghua bus, you're just like at any point, they're gonna crash this shit's gonna go into a ditch. I'm gonna die. They're stopping short. All sorts of fucking crazy shit's going. So bad. I gotta explain the shit that was going on around me taking this bus ride to Atlanta. So 2014, don't want to bring down the podcast, but this was like very shortly after my dad passed. And my friend who was in Atlanta, he was just like, hey, like if you want to get away, why don't you come down? You can come down, we'll spend Halloween down here and, just, kind of just get you away from everything going on. And obviously my dad passed, there was a lot going on. So I'm just like, and there's like kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go. So I booked the Fenghua bus because it was $80 round trip. Savings. You leave off the last cents for savings. So I said, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to take this bus. It doesn't matter because it leaves at 8 o'clock. I get there at fucking like, just before noon the next day. I'm like, I'm going to sleep anyways. Yo, that again, a mistake. They sat all the black people in the back of the bus.
Of course they did.
And all the Chinese and white people were in the front of the bus.
Of course they were.
The black of the bus, which it seemed like the black of the bus, there was nothing but niggas on that bus. I'm talking about like niggas who just got out of jail, who are traveling back home and taking this bus to go back to where they come from because they got locked up in New York. I was sitting next to a nigga who was literally talking about, yo, when I get home, I'm just like, I'm like, where am I? There was almost a race riot on our bus because the Chinese driver, the first leg, we had this black dude. This black dude, he held this shit down. He was mad because this big brolic ass nigga, right? He was all good. Then they switched out and this Chinese guy came on. This motherfucker, he comes on wearing a Yankees cap, a full-on sweatsuit. So like, almost like, okay, this seems like a down-ass Chinese dude. He was a little too down because this nigga's stopping short in the middle of the night, and there's this woman, and her kid is in there, and he's, when he stops short, he's slamming on the brakes, and the kid is just slamming up against the fucking seat in front of him, and he's sleeping. So this girl's like yelling, like, hey, stop stopping short. Like, we have kids in here. Like, people don't know that you're doing that. You could hurt somebody. And then somebody else is like, hey, can you turn on the air conditioning in the back because it's hot as shit back here? And this thing kept on going. So eventually this guy slams on the brakes, and pulls the bus over, and he comes walking through, feeling the air vents and he finally turns it on. He's making sure it's on. And then as he crosses the Mason-Dixon line back to the front of the bus, he goes under his breath, but loud enough for you to hear it, fucking nigger. Yo, niggas were literally about to kill this dude. And then like this one woman was on the phone saying like, yo, when you come to the bus stop to pick me up, bring that thing. I was like, oh shit. This Asian man's about to
Bring
get
that
shot.
thing.
Like, oh shit. Like it's going down. So luckily he wasn't a dumb man, because before we got to Atlanta, this nigga pulled over and had somebody else take us the rest of the way. And like so like nothing really happened, but like it was probably one of the worst decisions of my entire life, taking that bus.
Yeah, that and buying that Steve Harvey suit.
No, that Steve Harvey suit is classic. It's classic. It's a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, it brought us so much joy. It made me money with it too. So fuck you, nigga.
That's true. That's true. Do you think that Pet Semetary, this version, is considered a classic? I feel like people mention, like people like know the name, but no one's ever been like, oh, you should. No one's ever told me you should see the original Pet Semetary. You know what I mean? It's never been an actual wreck in the horror genre for me. And people know that, like Stephen King to an extent. Some of his shit's too wild for me, but
I would think probably the book is more classic than the actual film.
Yeah.
I mean, because this book is this movie is fucked up.
Oh yeah, this is Matt. Like I wrote that down. I was like, this is really fucking creepy. That ending is harrowing when he makes out with his wife's corpse, which I didn't even realize. Like, why was her face fucked up like that? Was that the kid that did that?
Yes.
So he basically peeled his mom's face in half.
Yeah.
And then hunger.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That little nigga's strong.
And then the daughter had premonition. She's like, something bad's gonna happen to daddy. Daddy's gonna do something real bad, and then mama gonna do something bad. So are they alluding that this family can like see, like has supernatural powers?
No, I
the dad was seeing the vision of the dude pop up. The dad's
no. That guy was came to him as a warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came to him as a warning. He like intentionally,
but he was warning the little girl too. He was trying to help, like he was trying to tell her so she would warn the dad too.
Yes, but like but that is the basically somebody, the ghost is trying to intervene and save them. So like I don't think it's
like it's Final Destination or some shit.
Yeah, but like so I think it's more of like the other world is trying to say, yo, don't fuck around because you're gonna find out. So all right, first of all, beginning of the movie, they leave the toddler standing in the middle of the fucking driveway alone when the little girl falls. So I'm just like, oh, this is how this shit happens. These trucks don't slow down, not even a fucking bit. But then right after all this happened, the kid almost gets hit by a truck. They fucking 20 minutes in to them actually being at this at their new house, and the neighbor Judd saves him. Then the Judd's like, he's like, oh, you got to keep him out of the street. And then she's like, hey, where does that path go over there? So that's how the cemetery comes into this thing. She is like, but that's the thing. They just shoehorned it in. Also, I didn't like the wife's character. She was just there up until like the third act. And she was just like, she wasn't even, it didn't even feel like she was like a plot device. She was just there. And like that, and it kind of took away from it because they didn't build her character at all. Because a part of me felt like he didn't necessarily give a fuck. Other than them kissing, it's just like, okay, so she's a fucking fuck toy for this guy. And then after that, it's just like, hey, I'm gonna go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm gonna stay home because I don't like them. Nah, bro, you got to go suffer like everybody else does in the holidays.
That was fucking, that family dynamic was just weird. And again, I didn't really, there's just something so unsettling about this movie. Like when the cat got killed, and the cat's name is Winston Churchill and shit. And then the cat was like stuck to the ground. There's like little details like that were fucked up. Like when he picks up the cat's corpse and like you feel the suction from it being hit in the ground by a truck or whatever the fuck hit it. And then he buries it, and then the cat comes back alive with the yellow eyes, scratching the fuck out of him. I mean, that rat in the bathtub scene was fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a dead rat. It was like a bloodied up rat.
Yeah.
So he got rabies, all kinds of shit.
Nigga. Surprise, motherfucker.
That's what I was like. This and what's so harrowing about this movie, I think, that fucked me up in the beginning, from the like even before the first frame hit, was that old school. It had an old school Paramount logo thing with the music like dun 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 dun, dun like all inspirational and triumphant and shit, and then immediately it got creepy.
Yep.
I'm just like,
welcome to the bullshit. Yep. Yeah. Real fast, real fucking fast.
I did write down. I don't know. I guess it's said at the beginning. I never got the saying "happy as a clam" because I don't. Are clams happy? Because they. All I know is that clams get open and then they get eaten.
I think that that's kind of them paying homage to Maine.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's just the Northeast.
Oh, I did write down this question for you. Has Jaxon started going through his existential phase yet, where he's like where he's questioning you about death and God and shit?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Like the little girl is, because I know that kids get to a period like that. I happen to get lucky enough to get my godson around that period. I have to take care of him for an extended amount of time. He started asking me about death and shit. I was like, cool, little man.
He's like, cool it, motherfucker. That's questions for somebody else, not me.
He's like, Tio, why do people die? I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. It's a Tuesday.
Because nothing's forever.
So yeah, he hasn't started like
no, he hasn't gotten there. He's I don't think I want to get there with him because Jax is a little scary ass nigga. I'm just
what do you think is scary?
No, he gets scared easily.
He gets scared. I thought you said he was scary.
No, I said he's a scary ass nigga.
Okay.
So like we were watching, like there's YouTube videos, stuff like that, where you can, it's basically faking the kids. It's like, look, it's like Super Mario Run, and they run in place, and then like things come towards the screen, you jump out of the way and all that kind of stuff, and it goes, oh no, the floor is lava, so jump up on a chair or whatever. Floor is lava. He said nope and started screaming and runs to the other room. He does not like lava, doesn't like fire. I'm just like, nigga, did you come from hell? What's with you in fire? You have never seen something burnt. You have not seen a flame. What do you hate about fire? Like, what is going on with you? So I had to have a whole talk and calming this nigga down. I'm just like, yo, we need to breathe. Yo, and he's in the other room. He's like, and this nigga's lips go like Scooby-Doo shit. I'm just like, Jax, chill out.
Oh my god. Yo, it just as if your kid had come from hell. All right.
Yo, no, but Brandon, we watch Super Mario, right? When you go to Koopa's world and all the lava and shit like that.
That's scared him?
Like, I don't like this. Turn it off. Oh. I'm like, what's wrong? And then now it just dawned. And then after we got past that, he was fine. I'm just like, oh, it's just the lava and the fire. I think my son was in hell.
I mean, it's possible also, dude. Like, this is what's fucking terrifying as a parent. Your son might have had some fucked up experience with fire that you're unaware of. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he was near a dude that was about to light up a grill and the shit exploded and he was just like, ah! You never know.
He hasn't.
But you don't know, bro. That's the thing is, you don't know what your son's seeing.
Well, this is true. Or maybe, you know what? He could have been watching a movie when I was watching movies.
Exactly.
I thought he was asleep.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Never know.
He might have come at the wrong end of Child's Play. Seen Chucky on fire, didn't know it was a doll, thought it was a kid. Now he fucked up.
That could be me.
But yeah, man, this movie was so creepy. Because in the remake, I think the family all get got. Not just and I don't think the daughter lives. I think the whole family gets got. But I have forgotten, that movie was far removed enough from my memory that I kind of forgot it until we got to the end. I was like, oh no, this is about to get gnarly. But the kid that was helping to advise, not advise him, but warn him, did he really try to save him though? Because it felt like everyone brought him into the hospital. He's all fucked up with a brain injury, and then you just cut to the doctor being like, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and closes his eyes. I was like, he didn't do anything.
He was just like, hey, nigga, it's been real.
Because they were like, help him. I was like, his blood is all over your hands. Like, I don't know what you...
his brain is showing. I'm pretty sure there's not much I could do to help. Well, and then
because you can only lose so much brain, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when your brain is exposed, hey, bro, I think it's time you start finding your next fucking condo in the next dimension. You know? Yeah, I know it's fucked up.
What? That was wild.
You pick out your condo in the next dimension, aka heaven or hell. Anyhow, but what I found ridiculous was the guy wakes up and he grabs him. It's like, you must stay away from such and such and such, and talking all this shit about the pet cemetery. Don't go to beyond things, stuff like that.
When the body reanimates,
he goes, how do you know my name? Yo, a dead nigga just woke up and started talking to you. You worrying about this nigga knowing your name? Like, you just pronounced him dead.
And then he spit blood in his face too?
No.
No? That was something else? Okay. Someone got blood spit in their face. But I did write down, because they had like the housekeeper, Missy or whatever, who like apparently had stomach pains. And I was like, there's a few scenes we seen Missy for the first time where I'm like, around the husband, I'm like, isn't he a doctor? Like, he's just now offering to examine her. He's like, hey, Missy, I can check that out if you want. I'm like,
she's like, hey, I'll be fine. It always passes.
And then she killed. What was the significance of Missy killing herself? Like, why was that a thing that we watched?
No, because that's what brought up the whole thing of death with the daughter.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, I guess it reopened that talk because
because she was worried about the cat being neutered and that he could die. And then the wife, who was like, that you don't have to worry about that. That's never going to happen. I did like that conversation. I like that he was like, yo, if something happens with this fucking cat, which is a very small possibility, you owning that conversation. I was like, that's real. That's real because you set us up for failure.
Yep. It's just like,
I mean, that cat got it worse than just getting their nuts cut. They got way worse.
Oh yeah. When those fucking wheels get to you.
Yeah. That's nuts. I mean, that is kind of a shitty thing that happens to cats, which is that they get neutered and they don't even know what's happening until it's happened. They're like, I didn't have a choice.
Where my balls go? Yeah.
It's gotta
be
wild.
That's why you're supposed to do it younger on the animal, so they're not
traumatized from it and shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, hey, I used to hump everything. Why don't I have the need to do this anymore?
Yeah. Also, the kid that died, Victor Pascal, whatever, the doctor like gets his file like a few days later after he's passed and just throws it in the trash. And I was like, I don't know if you could do that. Did you peep that too? I was like, I don't think you can just throw out files of people.
Disposed.
I was like, that's how that shit works, nigga. Y'all still got insurance and stuff. You gotta be accountable to these dead bodies.
You know he's got a family, right? Like, he was just a student. But also that just shows it's like these trucks are just flying around like crazy everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Like, so in the chat, Ali wrote, like, I commute 2 hours back on back roads and Mack trucks really do 60 to 65 on them. It always makes me always think of this movie, which is like, yes, trucks definitely drive way too fast, especially on like back roads and stuff like that. But like, come on, like, in this case, you have a cemetery packed full of fucking dead animals. People have died on these roads, and getting like what are you thinking?
Yeah, it was crazy. That was a terrible location as well to get. That's a terrible location for a home. Absolutely. And I think for me, that's where everything about this is just wrong. It felt so wrong. Everything like the misspelling of cemetery. I was like, that's a problem because that means that's some creepy nigga that was illiterate. Put this together.
Semetary.
Well, did they allude that it was Native Americans?
What's that?
Did they allude that burial ground started with Native Americans?
No,
because they kept talking about the ground being sour and shit.
No,
and that's why
that area is seemingly the white people's cemetery. Pet cemetery.
Yeah.
But it's you have to go over the woods and climb a fucking mountain to get to the Native American cemetery. Those I guess tribal grounds up there, which, if he had to carry that kid all the way up there, how did he get there?
Yeah, there's a lot of like things that just didn't quite fit, but in the wife too.
Even more.
The wife would be heavy.
Yeah, dead fucking weight, and you have to climb a fucking mountain. Who the fuck is this guy? Sly Stallone? Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Check out Cliffhanger Patreon. But Brandon, my question is for you. You had this whole like traumatic thing, like you feel like maybe you were dreaming, but a body woke up and spoke to you at work, right? Right? A guy who literally just died, brain matter all over your fucking place. You go home, and then all of a sudden, said guy is standing in your room, and he says, "Follow me." Are you following this person into the woods?
No.
To a cemetery, and having a whole conversation, and then laying down on the floor, and then waking up in your bed with your work clothes on from a dirty body to somebody who got killed, and your nasty ass feet, like, yo,
all muddy and shit in the bed.
Yeah, this was some unsanitary white folk.
Oh yeah. No. I wrote that I could never. Tati would beat me in the bed like it's Full Metal Jacket if she found me in bed like that. Bro, if I had dirty ass feet in the bed, she would fucking slit my throat and then beat my body to death, even though I'm already dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like she would make sure that I knew the pain and I felt it in the afterlife. You don't fuck up somebody's bed like that. That's some nasty white people shit.
No. That's just nasty people shit.
No, it's mostly white people that be having their shoes, their socks off and shit. Yeah, you'd be saying Rick James, but he had shoes and he did that purposefully.
Yeah, I don't walk out of my house with no shoes on. I don't like to do that.
I've seen white people just absentmindedly take off their shoes and their socks on like planes and buses and shit.
Oh no. So
that means that they're going to do that.
They want to get comfortable. They want to get the jams breathe.
Yeah, but if you do that in that kind of setting, then you're going to just put your feet up on your bed without washing, probably. What did Taylor Swift say that she does? She just lets the water run down her body?
No, that wasn't her. That was
I really hope not. She got nice legs.
Okay.
Just saying.
I don't necessarily agree, but there was somebody who said, "Oh no, I'm thinking Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. They were talking about they don't.
They don't
shower their kids for like once a week.
They talked about some nasty hygiene shit.
Yeah, kids, yeah. There was somebody who said that they don't. They just run water on themselves, which is that's a no for me. And God forbid you sleep with somebody like that. They're smelling like fucking like Confederate fucking pennies and shit. Nobody wants that. That's disgusting.
I wrote down the poor daughter had those Coke bottle glasses. The eyeglasses. I was like, oh man, the 80s. They were not kind if you had bad vision.
Well, that's the thing. People call it four eyes, stuff like that. You don't really hear that anymore because
glasses are so well made now. You don't really notice.
People don't look fucking nuts.
Yeah. They don't look like they have magnifying glasses on their eyeballs anymore.
And their eyes are like, ah.
But the 80s was wild, man. Because the doctor tells his wife, she just talks about like her horrific like childhood and like having to care, like, be there for her older sister that was all fucking deformed and shit. And then the husband's just like, I'm gonna get you a Valium. She's like, you know what that does to me? He's like, it's okay. I'm gonna give you anyway.
No. He says, I don't take anything. Tonight you do. Tonight you do. He's just like, not a question. I'm giving you drugs and you're going to sleep.
All right. I know for this, I'm gonna go to hell. I know it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well at all. But I did write down the daughter looked like white Blue Ivy. She looked like Blue Ivy. She was a white face.
Jesus
it was not good. It was not good.
The thoughts and views of Collins. Beehive, don't come after me, come after
Yeah, come
Brandon.
after Justin.
Frodo underscore.
No, come after Justin or Eddie Collins, not Brandon Collins. Uh, I did that line. Sometimes death is better is so fucking unsettling.
What's that?
When
Yeah.
Judd said sometimes death is selling and is better, death is better, and then he told that story that Bateman nigga. That shit was so creepy. And then he was holding the dad down when they clearly were good. They didn't have to burn down that house. They could have just shot the zombie nigga, but they burned down the house. And then the dead son, just keeps his dad in there. He's like, "Dad, don't want to be alive." I'm like, Lordy.
He's like, "Come with me."
What did
Yeah, that was wild.
Who said you know how men are when they're alone? Who said that?
Was it the mother?
I think so. That was a wild line.
Yeah, he probably went out and got some food or something. And it was like, wait, what kind of men were there in the 80s? Like, yeah, my dad, he'd come home late from work and he'd go to the Ponderosa to get some food.
Man, Ponderosa Steakhouse was such trash.
Yeah, it was. You call it a steakhouse, nigga. That was a buffet. That was a trucker side of the road buffet.
Yeah,
I mean, the food, they had some banging shit in there. They had the Swedish meat. Yes, no, they had the Swedish meatballs. They hit. I remember it vividly. Because one time I went with my dad. I remember it was like, "Hey, Dad, can we go to the Ponderosa?" Like, that's a special time.
I remember I had to cake that fucking steak in A1 sauce to make it edible.
See, you're eating the steak, bro.
It's called Ponderosa Steakhouse.
It's not the Ponderosa. It was not the steakhouse.
Yes, it is. It was called. Hold on.
No, I think
Ponderosa and Bonanza Steakhouse.
And see, all I know is, was it a buffet? It
literally says it in the title, Ponderosa Steakhouse.
Okay, all I know is,
they show these juicy ass steaks on their website. You fucking lying, niggas.
If you go into the Ponderosa thinking that you about to eat fucking high class, that's on you. that's 100% on you. I went to the Ponderosa. I walked through those doors. All I saw was a bunch of divorcee dads eating alone, and my dad just like, or truckers. Yeah. And it was just like, hey, this is a place that's open late, and like I just got off of work. My dad used to get off at like 12 at midnight. And she used to get home at like 12:30 at night. And he was just like, "Hey, I'm hungry. Your mother's dinner.
Hungry hippos."
Yeah, your mother didn't cook something or da 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 da." And I just happened to be up, and he was just like, "I'm going to the Ponderosa. You want to go?" I'm like, "Yes." nigga barrel.
That's fucking wild, dude, man. Ponderosa Steak. That was a bad place.
It hit. It was good for what it was, but if you think it is a fucking steakhouse, that's where you're first wrong. So hold on.
I used to go to it was in Ann Arbor. They have Outback Steakhouse and there's this place called Lone Star.
Oh yeah, I've heard Lone Star.
Those are the steakhouses. There's no like fancy steak place. That's why like even in New York, when I go to an expensive steakhouse, I'm like, this ain't that great. Did you go to Pootie or Lugan with me for my birthday one time?
Yep.
Did we talk about what we thought of that steak?
Yeah. We went to the one in Brooklyn. Actually,
that's the legendary one.
No, right? The original one is here.
And it's
out by me. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, it should still be the same meats.
Yeah, but I mean, if like the flagship is here, it's always going to be better at the flagship. And also, once you start making in bulk, like for Manhattan, I mean, for the city, it's going to fall. The quality is definitely going to fall, at least a little bit.
I was just very taken aback by how not good it was. And I went to another steakhouse recently. They do the whole aged steak thing. I think mold on steak tastes terrible. It tastes burnt and it tastes like mold. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't taste like the meat doesn't taste better because of it.
Yeah. So
and also these niggas only do salt and pepper, like these basic motherfuckers.
Yeah,
not even good salt and pepper too. It's just that's why they be fucking layering it with it, not just for the crust.
I've been doing some like some nice experimental shit with my steaks recently, and I've been changing the game up. One of these days I'm gonna throw a steak on for you, Brandon. I'll throw a steak on for you, but Peter Luger's, it's all about that fucking sauce. That Peter Luger sauce is fucking delicious.
It is pretty good.
Yeah, that steak sauce is just okay. So let's get into the fact is that the kid gets hit by the car and he dies.
Yes.
You know, we have the dad sitting in the road screaming no, as you have a flipped over truck. I don't know why the truck would flip over because it killed the kid. So I would have to think that that kid is not the only person that died. The truck driver had to die in that accident.
Yeah.
Right? Because if that guy flipped that truck, also that truck probably went onto either theirs or Judge's property or Judd's property. So yeah.
This town should be fucking sued and at the very least have put up something within a day of that incident.
Yes.
Like that's insane to me that they
how
went back
old was that
home
kid,
and it was
2?
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was bound to happen.
So again, these are 2 movies that fucking triggered me because
oh yeah, folks, we're pulling behind the curtain. We just right before this we reviewed The Exorcist Believer.
Yeah. So, you know, again, this movie
you piled it on with the dad's suffering.
Yeah. What the fuck? Bro, because you know, I live close to a busy road. And like even when we were trying to, you know, looking at houses and things like that, like we looked at a place that didn't have like a really good fence. It was way too open for me, and we would be on the corner of a busy road, and there was a high school up the block. Paul loved this house. I said no. I said absolutely not. Absolutely. He's like, why not? Such and such and such. I said, I will not live here with 2 young little boys, and you have fucking like drivers who just got their license going up and down this road. I was like, I can't.
Teenagers are terrible drivers.
Yeah, I was like, I won't. I'm not gonna do that. It's like I'd never sleep at night. And like that little kid running, well, and also he's just running into the street. Like the first thing they should have done was put up a goddamn fence.
Oh yeah. They should have done a lot of things. I mean, they clearly had the money for it.
Yeah.
And also that kid had mad energy. At the beginning, he's throwing all kinds of shit at people.
Yeah.
Like he's pent up energy. He's a boy, so you gotta fucking or either that or get him a leash like my mom used to do with me.
No wonder. You fucking wild.
I know she fucking held me back. You gotta let me fly, woman.
So, and then then we cut to the funeral, and the wife's father comes up to him and says, I knew you were gonna fucking fuck up. Why weren't you watching the kid? And punches him.
And he said you're a kid killer or some shit, right?
Yeah. Punches him. The father, he just lost his son. And then he hits him back, which he then falls into the casket, and the boys and like it pops open for a second, so you can see the boy's hand or some shit like that. The hand of the body, and then the dad again, no, and then somebody grabs the dad. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing? It's your kid's funeral." I was like, "Did you not just see this motherfucker punch me?" And it seemed like he was trying to stomp him out too. I was like,
yeah.
Like what?
Yeah,
everybody was gonna get fists.
Exactly. I would have lost my fucking mind. I would have I mean, it was fucked up when the coffin fell over. I was like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I would have fucked my father-in-law up. I would have after he got that one swing on me and called me a child killer instead of it was my fault. I mean, I definitely was negligent, but I would lose a son and a father-in-law that day.
Yeah,
there'd be bodies. I was like, you want to put a body on me? I'll put a body on me.
Well, and it's also the fact it's like, yo, your wife was there too.
Mm-hmm.
Like your wife was right there.
Yeah.
And there was another adult there too. Like everybody was there. Also, guess what? Your other grandchild saw it all happen.
Uh-huh.
It's like, so there's trauma all over the fucking place.
And also at this point, he already knows about the other daughter that died that they had. So they were neglectful as fuck. You know, the wife's sister.
Oh yeah,
he knows about that whole thing. Yeah. So he's like, you are fucking terrible parents.
Oh yeah.
Like, yo, like we can go to town right now. We can go Family Feud, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what made me think though that they kind of relied on the wife's family to kind of support them a little bit.
Yep.
Because it seemed like he had to eventually make nice with him.
No, I mean he was a doctor.
Yeah, but like it was alluded that like the guy, like, her family doesn't like him
Yeah,
and
yes.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, they don't like him. I mean, he I
But
guess
why
he
else would
did.
he need to make good with them if like they're not relying on them somewhat financially?
Well, he did say that he was a bum. But it's like, all right, let's say he's a
He's a
doctor.
doctor.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a
nigga, what
fucking
do I have to
doctor.
be in
So it's just
1989?
yeah, it's like so I'm guessing if that's the case, it was probably one of those things where he was in med school and yada yada yada, or probably just coming out of his
Look at
residency.
you getting the education to be able to
Yeah,
save
right.
lives and make a career, nigga.
You
You
ain't got no
dumbass.
money. Yeah, because I'm a fucking doctor in med school. I'll be making money, you piece of shit.
Yep. That's insane. It's like unless I'm killing people intentionally, I'm willing to be a doctor, which already puts me into a certain income bracket. I mean,
Yes.
it's not the same way anymore, but back in 1989,
Well, no,
for
it still
sure.
is. It kind of still is the way.
Well, if you can get to private practice, apparently that's where the
No,
money at.
doctors are still making pretty good fucking money. They're still making
Yeah,
good money. It's just the fact is like if
they got
you're
to work
doing
crazy hours though.
yes, yes. Well, that's
Yeah,
the thing. Like you're not going to be around that
yeah,
much.
yeah. I don't. Yeah, you're. I don't know, man. That's such a high stress job. I feel like that and being a public defender. Those are like and obviously a teacher. Those are like the most
Mm.
stressful jobs ever.
Yeah, well, because when somebody else's life is in your hands,
Yeah.
it's like, ugh.
What's a loon, by the way? They
It's
mention a loon
a
in
loon
this
is a
movie.
duck. It's like a
Okay.
duck, but they make these kind of weird howling noises. I saw one when I was in Maine. It's like actually, I think the Daffy Duck is technically a loon.
I mean, that makes sense. He's fucking crazy.
No, but I think his character is actually. I think is actually a loon, but they just call him a duck because nobody knows what a fucking loon is.
Mm, got it. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
it's weird, but they
that's
make
all.
these weird noises, and like when they're on the lake and shit like that, it's just yeah,
When they're on
it's
the
weird.
lake,
No, because
when
it
they're on.
sounds it almost it almost sounds like a weird monster or some shit like that, but it's the loon.
All right, before we get to a Patriot thought and wrap up this bad boy, some trivia for us. So this had a budget of $11.5 million and had a box office of $89.5 million.
Mm.
And I could tell this as soon as I first saw the character. The royal role of Zelda, Rachel's terminally ill sister, was played by a man. Director Mary Lambert wanted Zelda and her scenes to frighten the audience, but did not believe that a 13-year-old girl was scary. So she cast Andrew Hubestek in the role to make something be off about Zelda. Yeah, you think you literally made you made fucking Slender Man. That shit was crazy, crazy.
Oh god.
Um, Apparently, the original cut of the movie delivered to Paramount's executives was judged to be too long, so excessive footage had to be removed. They also decided that the closing scene was too tame, and at their request, it was reshot to be more graphic. Oof. So they're the reason why we got the shot of the mom. That was such a haunting ending.
Yeah.
And several seconds of gruesome footage had to be cut to avoid an X rating for the MPAA, including the scene where Gage bites into the neck of Judd. Yeah, that was wild. When he
Yeah.
slices his mouth open like the Joker and
And
then
then he
bites into
falls
his
down.
neck.
He's just like, I'm gonna eat out your throat. I'm like, yeah, that was wild. That
I
was
mean, the
wild.
dude Judd did tell him, he was like, you put something back in there, ain't gonna come out the way it came in.
Yo, but what killed me is when Judd was just like, Gage, I got a surprise for you, and then pulls out his knife. He was
He knew it was up. I mean, that's what was so stupid. Like, was the old man that dumb that he's like, I know. Oh no, I know what you're thinking. Don't do it. If you know that this dude's contemplating digging up his dead child, and they're gonna take him to this crazy cemetery that reanimates niggas that become like killing machines, you gonna leave that nigga sight?
yeah. I'd be
You'll be
sleeping
like,
right next to
all
that
right,
motherfucker. He wake
all
up,
right.
it's like,
It's like
today is not the day.
it's like Justin, you promise you ain't gonna do this, right? Promise. All right, I'm
I'll
gonna go.
never do it.
I'm gonna go back next door and have some cornmeal.
And then
Like,
I'm gonna go next door and smoke a cigarette. It was fucking. And also, like, just like, what other reason did he drop his family off to go back to Chicago? And I'm just gonna stay at the house for a few days to tie up some loose ends. Nigga, you ain't got no loose ends. Your son's dead. I'm pretty sure you're on bereavement from work. And yeah, get on the plane. Why are you there alone?
Yeah, nothing happens when this dude's by himself.
Yeah, nothing good
The cat
happens.
died last time, and then obviously the son died before he left, and then everyone died the next time. Like, don't leave this nigga.
Yeah.
But okay, some more trivia. Bruce Campbell was originally the first choice for the role of Louis Creed, which I'm happy that didn't happen because I do not like Bruce Campbell. Let's see. When Victor Pascal is being carried into the clinic after being hit by a truck, a rabies poster with a picture of Cujo can be seen on the bulletin board by the stairs. So that's some fun little Easter egg. Okay. And then the idea for the story came about when Stephen King's daughter, Cat Smucky, was killed on the highway outside their home. Smucky's name appears on the gravestone in the pet cemetery in both the film and the novel. And the story was actually inspired by events experienced by Stephen King that occurred while he was living in Orrington, Maine with his family. King recalled that while living there, his daughter's cat was killed, and that a lot of Ellie's emotional outbursts was taken directly from his own grief-stricken daughter.
Okay. I can see that. Wild.
And apparently other characters are similar. And Stephen King also had that cameo as the creepy-ass minister.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just like, that's a creepy looking nigga, and he makes the most fucked up stories. It all checks out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he got teased a lot growing up, probably.
What do you mean?
There's no way Stephen King wasn't teased a lot and then was like, I'm gonna get you niggas back. And that's when we're Carrie. Like, there's no way.
Honestly, though, I don't know, because you remember this is like 70s, 80s, stuff like that. He looks creepy as fuck to us now, but back in the day, creepy wasn't all that. True. Yeah, you know, that was kind of like, you know, part of the course to look like a weirdo like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was also from Maine, and he lived in Maine, and he did a lot of his shit around in Maine. So, and you want to talk about creepy? I met a woman when I was in Maine at a gas station, and she was literally wearing a muumuu dress, and she was like 20. I was just like,
I forgot what book Stephen King wrote. Oh, it was Cujo, because it was cocaine. He got so high on cocaine, he just blasted it out. He forgot he wrote it.
Yeah, he was just like, whoa, I got a hit here.
Dude, imagine being that good of a writer that you're just like, I can be so high, I forget that I wrote this shit.
Yeah. And
that
just
had to
write
be scary as
book.
Fuck. That had to be scary as fuck when he went sober.
Oh,
Think about it, because if you're like that talented and like, but you like make some hits when you were fucked up, and then you're like, but this ain't good for me long term. Let me stop. You're probably like that first sober book probably was real tough.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're just like, I don't know if I can do it without the drug.
It might have been The Shining, actually, now that I think about it, which is kind of crazy. But oh boy, so that's our trivia.
I think it was Cujo.
No, Cujo was the one that he did like high on cocaine.
You're saying the first one without? Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Because that would make sense for Jack Torrance and stuff. But we did get one Patriot thought. And remember, folks, if you sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/mediapopcorn, you're guaranteed to have your thought and review read on that upcoming episode. So we got one from Sean the Terrible, who wrote, "This scared the shit out of me when I was a kid."
Mm-hmm.
So Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
So call me baby. So guys, we rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile. We pile piles and piles of dog shit on top of it. So Brandon, we sat down and watched Pet Semetary 1989, the original, a Stephen King book adapted into a film by Stephen King himself, with screenplay by him and directed by Mary Lambert. What say you, sir?
Yeah, this gets wait, oh shit. I just realized, when the cat pops up at the end after the wife has disappeared and he was chewing into that flesh, was that supposed to be from the wife?
Wait, what?
Skin? When the cat's chewing into the skin? Oh no, that's probably Judd. Never mind. It's so gross. This gets a medium. It was a solid horror film. very unsettling. The 80s, the late 80s, early 90s horror films, like the way that they caked on the makeup on these white people, the way they shot it was so unsettling. It's like in a similar way that Hellraiser kind of like made my skin crawl.
Mm,
This is this similar vibe, but like for a different reason.
yeah.
But I thought this was way more effective, and I thought the acting was a little bit better. Except for the main guy, he just again reminds us Sam Worthington, who's a piece of shit. But yeah, solid medium. What about you,
Okay.
Justin?
I think I'm gonna give it a medium as well. I mean, even though like I mean, you do have to look at it and be like, this was made in 1989, so it's not going to look that great, and things like that. And it's also low budget in '89. Actually, no, this wasn't low budget because this was made
Oh,
for $11.5 million.
yeah,
Box
that's a
office
lot.
89.5.
In '89, dude, that's a lot.
Yeah, no, that's a lot.
Some
It's like
movies were only making 3.5 or some shit.
yeah,
Like,
because I
that's
remember this from when I was a kid, and it did freak me the fuck out. Like the kid's voice when he
yeah.
was when he reanimated, and just like that character, even though it was hilarious, is when it was standing up, the kid was standing in the attic and it's clearly a doll, and they just threw the doll
Oh yeah,
out of the guy.
yeah.
But like it was very creepy, and like it's one of those movies I've always remembered, even like that song at the end, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery, I don't want to be buried again. Did you not hear that?
No,
Yeah, like the song right out as a credit start to roll. That's the song.
that's
Listen
fucking
to it.
creepy.
Like that has stuck in my head ever since the first time I saw this film. But like, yeah, it's a decent film, but I do think like this does make like the films make me question if Stephen King's a good writer, because parts of these is like I'm just like, is this good, or am I just saying that because
He's
some of the
yeah,
dialogue is not the best.
yeah. I mean, he's not the best person with dialogue, but like his ideas are so fucking
Yes.
original.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't for me. Like sometimes it doesn't matter. Like his books are very hit or miss, but the
Mhm.
premise is always, especially the classics. Even if the writing shitty, like the premise alone is fucking timeless. Like
Yeah.
or not timeless, but like it's just legendary. It's so creative and shit. Because like there's sometimes when he hooks you and he lets you know, like his books are always like this is gonna be fucked up, but there's sometimes when he's like this is gonna be the vibe of the book. Like one of my most favorite ones of his is called Under the Dome. It's a
Mm.
1,000 pages, but it's so fucking creepy and unsettling because it's about this small town that gets essentially trapped in a globe, and
Okay.
they don't know why. It's like this force field thing, and how the town pretty much turns on itself. And he saw the visions and shit politically coming through like years before that shit manifested.
Mm.
And it gets kind of wonky in the last like 100 pages, but he's really good at hooking you. Sometimes it takes longer to get there. He can be really long winded sometimes. I'm thinking about it. It take
Mm.
it takes a long time to get started, and then it ramps up, then it slows down again. It's a really frustrating book actually.
Yeah.
And it's almost 1,000 pages, that one too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying though. Like it's yeah, they're not the best movies ever, like, but they're also like legendary in their own ways. It's
Yes.
ironic that his most famous adaptation is the one that he hates the most, which is The Shining.
Yeah.
Which I
Mm.
watched that the other day, man. That's a long ass movie, but it works.
Yeah, but
I don't know why, but
I think is because his slow pace in that film works
yeah.
even better.
Mm.
Because
It's
it
also Jack
builds the
Nicholson.
suspense. Well, yes.
It's a great Jack Nicholson role. Like he's
Yeah.
fucking nuts.
Yeah, because Jack Nicholson looks like he kills people.
Yeah, that's what Stephen King said was his biggest gripe with it, is that you can't. Jack Torrance's supposed to have a slow build to being crazy. Jack Nicholson's already crazy. But folks, that's our review on Pet Semetary 1989. Hope you all enjoyed it. You can follow me on Frodo Blackens on all social media platforms. You can follow the show at Medium P Podcast and all those same platforms. And be sure to go to youtube.com/Medium P Podcast. Push that subscribe button so you get alerted about all videos and celebrity interviews that we be doing. Hopefully they'll be coming back soon if the strike is resolved at some point. Justin, how can people support the show financially as well as follow you, sir?
Well, if you want to follow me, Jay Brown did it on the socials. But you can support the show, support this podcast at patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, and $10 packages.
That's
You
right.
know, our entire backlog
Come
is
and
on
get that
Patreon. We got
package.
bonus episodes. We have bonus mini shows, and there's so much on there. If you love this show, just go to Patreon and you're going to get so much more.
That's right. Get it all up in yourself. That's right. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Peace.